Hello and welcome. It is 5 p.m. and it's Saturday. Or let me say Saturday, because Saturdays are about self enrichment and self development with Avneet Kohli. For those of you who have been with me over the last 12 weeks, you know the drill. You know exactly how this goes, where we talk about so many new concepts, strategies, ideas, topics that help you accelerate your personal and professional development. But for those of you who are here for the first time, tell me that you're new. Hit the comments box and let me know NEW if this is the first time you're here, or simply send me a heart and a wave. Before I get started, there is a very special guest coming your way today, but I just want to get more of you guys onto the stream today before I really let you know who this is. So I'm waiting for more people to come in. And meanwhile, tell me, are you guys here for the first time? Are you all new, or have you been with me on these last 12 weeks as we talk about personal and professional development every Saturday? Well, amazing. Superb. I'm just letting you guys flood in. Comments come in. Send me the hearts and likes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Lovely. So I was saying today's Saturday. That's how I've rephrased my, Saturdays in my week, where I call it Saturday because it's all about self-development and self-enrichment. And that's what we do every Saturday. So the last 12 weeks, we have spoken about so many different topics. Like, let me just talk about the month of June, for example. We spoke about topics like how can you make an empowering story for yourself, how you can change your narrative. Wait, the topic was how can you frame an empowering narrative, where we spoke about how you can create a personal story that helps you build confidence and that helps you project your best self in the world. We spoke about topics like how can you make an effective team. In the COVID-19 times, almost all of us have had to work virtually, manage teams virtually, and I gave away nuggets, pure nuggets, in terms of exercises, strategies that you could use sitting in the comfort of your home to keep engaging your team everywhere around the world. So we spoke about how you can have an empowering narrative, how you can manage your team effectively working in the virtual space, how you can improve your soft skills. That was the last topic that we did last Saturday, where I spoke to you about the top 7 21st century skills that are needed by you to actually thrive at workplace. So in case you have missed all of this, make sure to scroll through my feed and have a look at what's been happening. But you also know, for those of you who've been here, this month, the last of June, I launched the very first episode of my bi-monthly online show, which is called MindShift. And that's what you guys are here for today, where every 2 weeks, for you to power on, I bring you a very special guest, a guest that really helps you see clarity. Before I tell you any more about what's lined up for today, have a look at this. All right, and we're back. So that was the launch and the promo of MindShift, where in our first episode, I brought to you one of India's most renowned psychiatrists, Dr. Anjali Chhabria. She spoke to us about all the myths, all the different issues that surround the topic of mental health, and really helped us understand what are the fundamentals, what can you and I do when we may be suffering, we know of somebody suffering. So it was a truly insightful session. And today, I have another very special guest for you. If you are somebody who wants to be an entrepreneur, if you already have a business and you want to scale that business, or you simply have an idea that you think is a $1 billion idea, then today's session is a big one for you. So you buckle up, get ready as I tell you more about our guest today. Well, she is somebody who comes with 8 years of experience across edtech, food tech, beauty tech, and healthcare tech. 7 years back, she co founded Cedarwood, which is a platform, an online platform that enables parents to discover courses inspired by 21st century skills for their child. Today, Cedarwood boasts of delivering over 2 lakh hours of skilling courses to over 3,000 students. Cedarwood is also reinventing teaching as a whole as they come and bring with them the flexible work from home option for women on a break, thereby creating a generation of financially independent women. Being an entrepreneur gives her a wide and objective perspective on almost every business process. And she leverages that experience towards other startups by consulting and mentoring them to achieve scale and sustainability. Her newest venture, which is called Collaborate Her, is what I'm super kicked to know more about, where she is spearheading the mission of creating diversity in the startup ecosystem. So, all you entrepreneurs, buckle up, be with me as we get ready to take off on this session. Watch this. Now, wasn't that super powerful? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, join me in welcoming the one and only Deeksha Ahuja. Welcome, Deeksha.
Hi, Avneet. How are you?
I'm good. I hope that introduction was a power on.
It was more than that. And honestly, I was just thinking that, if we had a Karan Johar or Steven Spielberg for the startup sector, I think you would totally get that role because you did such a
Ooh.
fabulous and spectacular job. I mean, it looks so fancy, it looks so fabulous, but here I'm here to tell everyone that entrepreneurship is so much more than, the pomp or the success.
This is what I in fact wanted to like dive really deep with you today. And I've done such a lot of research on this topic, burnt
Sure.
my own hands, had my own learning lessons with
Right.
entrepreneurship. And today we really, I think what I want to get started with firstly is how did you get into all of this? What's your journey been like? What inspired you to be an entrepreneur? And how have you seen this ecosystem evolve over the last decade?
Sure. So, since the very beginning, I've always been inclined to see how, through the means of my life, I can create more impact. So, back when I was in college, of course, I went to St. Xavier's in Bombay, and, we were at the final stage of our graduation. And everyone was getting great offers. I also got a couple of offers from Google, McKinsey, but somewhere, that bug was not, letting go. I wanted to do a lot more with my time, with my life. I wanted to create a lot more impact. And education was a sector that was very close to my heart. I've seen my mom. My mom's been a teacher of 25 years, and she's one of my biggest role models. And I always felt that there was so much more that we could do in the education system, especially for children. And somewhere I think that struck with me. That impact or the ability to create that impact is what kind of led me towards entrepreneurship. And, it's like entrepreneurship is an addiction. So once that bug bites you, you don't want to stop. That
So
was the
true.
start of the journey. And then, of course, moving forward, and I started in 2012, 2013. The ecosystem was still very, very new. Today there is access to forums, to people, to mentors, but back then, it was still building up. So I've seen a tremendous change and a positive change. And in fact, sounding global trends now, India is at the hotspot of entrepreneurship, and globally all your funds, companies, countries are looking at India for the next big ideas. So definitely a positive impact.
And today, when you're here, I'm just wondering, is there like, in your opinion, what do you feel? Is there like a secret sauce to entrepreneurship?
The secret
Or what's
sauce.
your secret sauce?
So I'll be honest with you. I think there is not one secret sauce. The only thing that works is not giving up and always trying, right? If it was such an easy recipe that someone could just take notes and then implement that in their business, we all would be entrepreneurs and we all would be successful Mark Zuckerbergs and stuff like that. But that's not the point, right? The secret sauce isn't trying, isn't failing, and then again reinventing and coming back much stronger.
That's a pearl, or let me say that's a diamond. Like, I think if everyone who's watching and who's so inspired by an idea, you want to do something, you're thinking about doing something, this is like a nugget of wisdom. No matter what happens, number one, you will do it, you will fail, you will fall, but you got to get back up again and keep moving.
Absolutely.
So that was a big one for me. Superb. So Deeksha, I also did some research,
Great.
and
Very
sorry,
impressed. Very impressed.
just wait for it, there's more coming. Where was I? So I looked into almost like the top 20 publications online who were talking about myths around entrepreneurship. And I think four of the common themes that I saw was, I want you to give your comments on each of them. So firstly, is entrepreneurship genetic? Is this a myth? Is it true? Is it false?
It's completely a myth. I don't think entrepreneurship is genetic. It can come to you anywhere, anytime. You just need to have that bug inside you. You need to have that drive inside you. And of course, the ability to keep going on.
Okay. So it's not genetic, because a lot of people think that, oh, I'm born to like a business family, and my parents and my three generations have been business owners, have been, the in Punjabis we say pape,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pape family.
yeah.
So and then
Actually,
they think,
my whole opinion on this is very contradictory. See, when you come from a business family, things are said, you are kind of assumed to fit into roles. Somewhere we get a little complacent, we'll be like, huh, business chal raha hai, I just have to step in. uh, you don't think of innovation. But for someone who's never seen that, right, who probably comes from a family where your parents are working, or have had very stable careers, not into entrepreneurship, that's the time when you can actually explore, and you can kind of figure out how you can find solutions to problems, and that's what entrepreneurship is all about. So you have a very fresh perspective. So I do want to bust this myth and tell everyone that there is nothing called a business gene. uh, all the things that you need today can be acquired. There's enough information online. There are enough people you can speak to. The only thing that should be a genetic DNA in you is, like I said, the power of not giving up and striving on. Rest, everything can be done.
perfect. Makes complete sense to me. The second thing that I found is a very very common myth was, sorry, your common phrase which people think is a myth or not, true or
Right.
false, is entrepreneurs are motivated by money. Your comments?
I don't think so. I think entrepreneurship is so much more than money. Entrepreneurship starts with the intention or idea of solving a problem in a particular way that leads to an impact, right? That leads to a positive change. Of course, I'm not saying money is not important. A lot of people turn to entrepreneurship because the rewards are higher, right? So I'll give you a small example here. So, when you're investing, right, there are different categories where you can put in your money, right? So the safest one is, real estate or FDs. Then maybe you will do mutual funds. And at top, you have very risky investments, right? But we all know that the riskier the investment, the probability of that reward being higher is much more. That's what entrepreneurship is all about, right? So there are stable career options, and entrepreneurship lies at that high risk, but it's also high reward, which is why a lot of times it's linked to be the ability to make more money. But you can't do that without creating impact, right? Today I can, you know, even do something else. I can have a very fancy corporate career and earn a lot of money. But is that why I'm driven to be an entrepreneur? No, it's the impact.
You got me, girl. Talking to another impact and communication coach. You got
Absolutely.
me. You got me just that impact. That's it. We're besties forever, yeah?
Sure.
Okay, the next one. What are your comments on every entrepreneur has a clear vision when they start?
Well, so again, I will answer this question in two parts. The first one is yes, I think having a vision is very important because an entrepreneur can see solutions that no one else can see, right? That's why they come ahead and they say, okay, there's a problem at hand. We all know there are problems at hand, but I figured out a way that could actually solve this problem very creatively in a very scalable and sustainable manner, right? And you can't do that unless you have a vision in your mind, right? So this I completely agree with. But again, to give you the flip side of the coin, a lot of people who turn entrepreneurs have different visions. Like today, we're at this entire pandemic. The kind of problems that are there in front of us are very different. Maybe 5 years later, those kind of problems are very different. So based on your problems, your vision could also change, right? So vision could change, but you have to have that. So it's very imperative to kind of have that vision.
Deeksha, now that you say this, we have a question that just come in. I'm putting it up on the screen where
Yeah.
Anil Nair asks, how do we know if our idea is good enough to last the distance?
Super. So thanks, Anil, for that question, and great question. So let me just begin by saying this: just an idea is not enough. Today you have an idea. Avneet could have an idea. I could have an idea, right? We all could have ideas, but that doesn't make us entrepreneurs. What makes us an entrepreneur is the ability to execute those ideas in a very seamless fashion, right? Now, how do you go about figuring out whether that idea will make it to a bigger business model? So, Avneet, I can either answer that now, or as we go along, I can kind of put that. So, what do you suggest I do?
No, please take it and address it briefly though. Don't go into too much depth because I have a lot of action-packed stuff planned for you
Yeah,
guys. Okay.
yeah. So, three things you want to check. One is whether your idea can be scalable, right? What I mean by scalable is today, if I am providing a solution or say I'm selling something to 10 people, can I sell that to 10x people, right? Can that be scaled with technology, with more money? So that's your first checkpoint. Second is the way that you're going to implement that idea sustainable, right? Sustainable from a financial point of view. Are you is the implementation, or when you launch a product or a service, will it take care of the costs? Is it sustainable from an environmental point of view, from a human resource point of view? You want to check that. And the third thing is how easily replicable is your idea. So if your idea is something that it's very easy for you to implement, and anyone sitting there can kind of take that idea and implement that, it's probably not a very good idea. But if you feel the implementation of that idea is tough and it will take you time and probably some expertise or competitive advantage that only you have, that's another way of checking whether or not your idea will last the distance or not.
So what I'm hearing is scalability, sustainability, and having a unique value proposition. Would I be
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. A unique value proposition that is not at all easily replicable, right? So it should be tough to do what you're doing.
I get you completely. Thank you, Miss Ahuja. What are you
Thanks,
drinking?
Anil, for the question.
What are you drinking? I have my masala chai in my Follow Your Dreams cup.
Wow. I am an avid coffee lover. Like my day starts with coffee. I need it. So I'm having my soy milk coffee. So
Lovely. You make
good.
me miss going to Starbucks now. But
Yeah,
listen, this is your first time on MindShift, and I hope there are many, many more times that you grace this show. But today, this is the second segment where I take you through something called Shuffle. Yeah,
yeah,
where there are going to be power pack questions. Every
sure.
question is associated to a number.
Right.
I'm going to say start, and you
Yeah,
mentally count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, blah, 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 stop. Whichever number you stop at,
that's
that
the
number
next
stands for a question, and the question will display on your screen. So, can we do this?
Yes, but before we start, Avneet, I do want to completely applaud you here. So creatively, you've put this through and, putting my business jargon here. I think the way that you're doing your show is so, it can't be replicated. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Now, let's see. Inshallah, one day, Oprah and Ellen will come to me and they'll be like,
Oh,
"अरे, हमने सोचा नहीं था तुम ये कर पाओगी, but तुमने कर दिया." But it's
100%.
a little
100.
time away.
You're already there. Don't worry.
See, you've anyways killed it in edtech, food tech, media tech. No, not media tech. Media tech, you leave it for me. Every other tech you can take. Okay. Okay, cool. So let's get started.
Sure.
Let's say question number one. Deeksha, start. Stop.
7.
Between 1 to 20, number 7. Let me see what is number 7 saying. Ooh, nice one. Why
Wow.
do startups fail?
Oh wow. I'm so glad this was the question that I picked. I think I have some karmic connection with failure.
Hmm.
Okay, so failure is at the realm of entrepreneurship or startups. The sooner you internalize this, you understand this, you accept this, the better an entrepreneur you're going to turn out to be. 9 out of 10 times you are going to fail, whether it's your idea, whether it's your execution. Okay, and that's okay because, like I said, right, it's high risk and it's high reward. Having said that, what you can do is increase the probability of success. You
Hmm.
are going to fail because that's the only logical and valid way for you to figure out what's a better way to do this. And failure is all about figuring out, okay, this is just one more of what I don't have to do. So you're closer to figuring out what you want to do. But how do you probably increase the probability, of reducing your failure? So one is do your research, right? Like
Good
I
one.
said, if it's an idea, do your research, talk to people, go and search, wherever it is. If you have an idea, see what the other people are doing, what's your competition doing, right? So we call this something called an internal and an external check. So the external check has to do with the market, right? So suppose I'm launching something in the food industry. So I want to know what's happening in food, what's the future of food, what are the other people doing, how much money is being invested, right? What are the trends that are governing the entire food industry? Internal is, okay, do I have the right team? Do I have the right skill set? Am I motivated enough? What about my resources? Right, so these are some of the checks that you can do to increase the probability of success.
Deeksha, another thing that I noticed very commonly, or even with myself actually, when I was getting into the entrepreneurial road, I felt like you can do the research, you can do a lot of those things which all these business mantra books are going to tell you. But I think
Right.
somewhere it is that mindset that you need to overcome saying, okay, you know what, there is a 50-50 at this. I'm going
Yeah.
to give it my best rather than, I think like a lot of entrepreneurs fall into their own mental traps. As you said, they give up, they get disheartened, they get disappointed with failure. And as a
Yes.
result of that, so many ideas that have potential, that only need a little more persistence, they still
Right.
die in the bud. So, what do you have to say on that?
No, that's absolutely right. And that was my opening statement that the sooner you internalize and accept failure, the better an entrepreneur you're going to be. So and what that does is, see, when you fail, you also, like the mindset that you're talking about, your mindset becomes of that, okay, no worries, if I failed, let me try again, so you're constantly working on your personal development, you're constantly working on your brain of how to perform better. So
Hmm.
you're absolutely right, Avneet. Mindset, having that never give up attitude, has so much to do, because otherwise, and I'll give you a little bit of a data point on this, because I'm in the edtech industry and it's a very tough space, right? It's like healthcare. It's a very long term industry, like e-commerce and all, faster returns, quicker. But in something like education, it's very dependent on trust, and that takes time to develop.
Good.
More than about 80 to 90% companies in this sector, they spring up very fast, but they kind of die down or shut down within less than 3 years of operations. So what's that showing you? That's showing you that people are not sticking through. They don't have that mindset to kind of strive through.
That's a good one. I get your facts. And I think for those of you who are watching, that's again another takeaway point that no matter what, be aware of the mindset trap, get over it, keep striving, and keep moving, man. One life, do your best. Diksha,
Yes,
should we take the next question?
yes, I'm all set. Why don't
Super.
we? Why don't we switch this? I will say start, and you will do it in your mind, and then you pick the
Ooh, okay, let's do it.
thoughts. Okay, start. Stop.
Four. I just got to four and you're like, stop.
Perfect. Let's get to four.
Let me check. What is number four? Ooh, okay. Number four is entrepreneurship about hustle or heart?
First of all, amazing question, and now I'm a little juggled. So I'll phrase it this way. I think entrepreneurship is first about your heart, because, like I said, it's about identifying a problem that you relate to, that people around you relate to, that exists, finding a viable solution that actually creates positive impact. So first, it's about your heart. The minute it hits your heart and you feel like, I want to do something about this, I want to bring about that innovation, that's when the hustle kicks in, because the hustle is all about implementing what your heart envisioned, right? So
Hmm.
I think it's about both.
Well put. So, Diksha, I wish I had that Judge Wala hammer. It's one thing I need to
Wow.
get. Actually. It's a great idea. I think I
Yeah.
need to get a drum roll. Like, I need to get like a drum roll and I need to get a hammer. So,
I
these are
think
two
you
things I'm
have
going
a
to get.
badge that says hashtag Avneet approves. So it's like tested, accredited, one of those systems by Avneet. So we know our answers are relevant.
Arey, nice one. I need to think about that. I'm actually thinking of that guy. I don't remember his name. Jo India TV ka, uh, the anchor man. He
Yeah,
does that, right? Aapki Adalat. So I
yeah,
just thought of him.
yeah.
Anyway, let's move. Now your turn, yeah? 1 to 20. Count. Start. Stop.
5.
Number 5. That's me. 5th September. La la la. What's the question? Ooh, what steps must one take once they've thought of a killer business idea? What are the next steps?
Right. So I'm going to put this. I've kind of broken down entrepreneurship in a 3-step process. So I think I'll just take everyone through that. And again, this is my own research. So this is what I have learned in 8 years, and I've just put it down for someone who's entering to kind of relate to better. So your first process or your first step is your ideation stage, right? Where you've kind of figured and you've identified an idea, you've gone over all those things that I spoke about earlier, you've selected the idea that you want to go ahead with. Now, and that's the answer to the question, is the activation phase, where you do everything, you prepare everything you need for you to execute that idea. So just like, suppose you want to make biryani, you have a bunch of things, you gather all of them. That's what the activation process is, right? What are some of those things? Funds. Okay, where are you getting the money, right? Because starting a business costs money. People, where are you getting the people from? Where are the resources, right? The other thing is guides, mentors, very important, right? Because if you're stepping into this for the first time, you might want to run, you might want to talk to some people, you might want to get advice, right?
The
And
support system.
yeah, and of course, the last thing is just start. I believe that doing something and starting now is much better than thinking over it and perfecting it and saying, "Acha, ye karenge, wo karenge." Just start. Trust me, you will figure it out when you start. Your journey will teach you more. Entrepreneurship is about the journey. I'll be very honest with you. I know that the entire session says startup success decoded, but that success word, for me at least, means the journey. The fact that you're getting to the journey is all that you need. Success will come. It's just about timing.
Perfect. Nice one, Deeksha. Thank you. Okay, let's move to the next question. Is it my turn? Is it your turn? It's your
It's your
turn. No, it's
it's
your
your
turn.
yeah. So
Okay,
stop.
15.
Whoa.
Okay, 15. Scroll, scroll, scroll. What do investors look for?
Interesting. So, okay. Of course, we've covered some of this earlier, but again, what are investors looking for, right? So they want to look for how unique your idea is, of course, right? If they're putting in money, they want to see that this is going to become bigger, and if someone else does the same thing, they're losing money, right? Second is they want to see how hard you've bet. Unless you have bet on yourself, right? Whether it's the money, whether it's your time, how are they going to bet on you, right? So they want to see that confidence, that founder DNA. Then they want to again, of course, check how scalable is your business model, because ultimately that's what they're giving you the money for. They're giving you the money because you have told them that, hey, you know what? This is my business, this is what I've achieved, and I know I can scale up, but I don't have the money. So the investor says, okay, here's the money, give me a plan, right? So you also need to have a plan that, okay, if suppose I'm asking for $1 million today, where is that going, right? So have a plan of allocation of funds. And of course, the last thing is they want to see if you have a complete team, which means that if you are a tech product, you want to have someone in house for tech, you want to have someone in house for the strategy, for the marketing, because that's very, very important to future success.
So, what I'm hearing is a business plan, self
Yeah,
confidence as a founder, and the
yes.
third was clarity of allocation of funds, which I
Clarity
guess
about,
will be in your business
yeah.
plan or your forecasting, I guess. Okay, I got that. Okay, guys, this is a point where I'm sure many of you might have questions. So now is when you hit the comments box. Diksha is here. I am here to serve. I'm here to facilitate. She's here to drop nuggets of wisdom. So now is the time you drop your questions. If you are an existing entrepreneur, you have a business idea, you don't know where to get started, you have gotten started, but you want to take it to the next level, then whatever questions you have in your head, put it in the comments box and let me know. All right, but we're going to keep moving. Yeah, Deeksha? So this time
Absolutely.
it's your turn.
Absolutely. Okay, perfect. Okay,
One, two, 1 to 20. Start. Stop.
8.
Number 8. One fat lady. Number 8. Make me think of Housie.
Yes.
Okay, let's scroll. When is a startup ready for fundraising?
Right. So, and I'm glad that this question came up because it's very connected to the previous question. All of those things that I said remain the same. So let me just go over that. Uniqueness of your model, completeness of your team, scalability, sustainability of your idea, your founder DNA. And the one thing that, in fact, I didn't mention in my previous one and I now want to mention is, have you done a test market? Right? So
Hmm.
that's very, very important. Means that you just don't have an idea and then you also have a plan for execution, but you've actually gone ahead and done that, or you've sold to X number of people, you've got this much revenue, or you've tried to implement that strategy. So people or other investors want to see what is that proof of concept and is that even working. The minute you have this, that's when you have a convincing story to go and tell an investor that, hey, this is the test market, or this is what I did, these are the results of this, my idea is proven now. Like I said, here's the plan of allocating the funds, so this is how much money I want. And that's when you know that you can, look at a fundraise, right? Of course, Avneet, when you go for a fundraise, there's a lot more of technicalities that you need to look into from a legal point of view, from a compliance point of view. But I probably won't cover that, just to keep, this session a little bit more, easy for people to understand. But be rest assured that along with your idea, your execution, your test market, you also need to look at legal aspects of it, right? So if you have an in-house legal, person in your house, do go and talk to them. Otherwise, it's always a good idea to have a legal partner, a legal consultant on board who guide you through this process.
Diksha, the legal aspect, I hear you. And I know that it might not be enough time for us to get into enough information on
Mhm.
this topic today. But for
Right.
those of you who want to really go deep into understanding what you're doing rightly, wrongly, how can you be better, I have convinced Diksha to give one person, just one person, individual mentoring. So you can actually write to me when I'm going to put my email address in the chat box at the end of this video. You can write to me. I'm going to connect you to Deeksha, and only one person gets the opportunity to get mentored on their business idea. Yeah. So you better like watch out, put your questions together, and wait and stick around in this entire live so that you can get my email address and reach out to her. But before that, okay, Deeksha, let's get rolling. Is it
Yeah,
your turn? My turn.
it's your turn this time.
Huh. Okay, let's go.
Start. Stop.
19.
Wow. Just
19. This time I've been quick, man. I've been
very,
really quick.
very, very quick. Oh,
In
wow.
your opinion, what are the top three life skills required in the 21st century?
This question is really close to my heart because this somewhere formed the fundamental of my first edtech venture, Cedarwood. Because we, what we do there is, like you said, we try to create courses that help children build 21st century skills. So, three skills for me that I feel are very important. One is communication, whether with your own self, whether with your team, whether with people you network, right? Collaboration in the 21st century today, competition is passe. I don't think competition exists. I think there's a way for everyone to collaborate and still gain, right? And of course, the last one is critical thinking. Because unless you don't critically think about a problem, how are you going to come up with a solution, right? And this is not only in the context of entrepreneurship, but just generally in life, right? Could be a personal issue, could be an issue at your corporate job. So you have to look at analyzing the situation from a very, very critical aspect.
Amazing, Diksha. I totally, agree with you on that. Communication, collaboration, critical thinking. I guess today, the one thing that we all are not doing is actually all three of them. And to
Correct.
add to that, I would say emotional intelligence, because people do all of this and then they live amongst people and their teams. And I guess they get so up in their head that they forget that they're living with other human beings. Oh, wait, you know what? There are some more comments and questions that people have come up with. So I'm just going to put a question. We have Monisha Ahuja who asks, what are the milestones for an established offline education company to raise funds for an online expansion?
Very interesting question, Monish. Thanks for that. So again, like I said, unfortunately, investors and I'm talking about venture funds or angel investors where they put in equity, right? I'm not talking about bank loans and all. Bank loans, of course, you can get, but if you're talking about equity, most funds are are interested in models that are scalable, that are online, that have tech. So unless you have some sort of test market, or you have even like like a very ad hoc product that you've built online with tech that shows to the investor that, hey, you know what, I have a brand, I have insights in this, and I've kind of taken this online, but it's not probably the most sophisticated way, and which is why I need your funds, because with infusion of this technology and my knowledge of the education sector, we can make a truly remarkable product. So this is my personal opinion, but like I said, right now, the way that things are going, edtech is a very hot sector. There is a lot of investment happening, right? So if you are lucky, if you have the right connects, you might even get it on premise of your offline company. But I would still, to be on the safer side, go to an investor when I have some sort of minimum viable product or some sort of put together tech, that I can portray to them.
Perfect. And Deeksha, I think in our next segment, I'm actually going to be asking you in one sentence to take us through all these, this startup jargon, all these hyphendu words that people use. But I guess someone who's just starting out does not know. So I
Right.
think in that section, I'm going to bring up MVP. So thank you. But okay, Monish has another question, which is, does this mean that an offline entrepreneur cannot go online through investment unless he creates an MVP himself?
I'm not saying that you can't go and raise investment, but see, whenever you are raising investment, it's a very long process, right? You are going to be spending time in creating your pitch deck, going to those investors. So rather do it when you know that, about you being investment ready. So when you have that MVP, the probability of you raising investment is much higher, right? So I'm not saying you can't go with this model. I just feel you'll get a much better valuation on your company. You'll get a much better deal if you have an MVP, right? So I would coax you to think about that. But then again, if you want to take a chance and go and approach them, and a lot of times there are some angel investors who truly believe in you. So if you have the traits of being a fabulous founder, if you have a past record of success in the offline model that probably none other in the education industry can boast of, you probably have a winning strike.
I hope that answers your question, Monish. And I hope you shoot me an email and you enter that lucky draw where one person gets the opportunity of individual mentoring with Deeksha. So feel free to drop me an email. It is avneetatwork@gmail.com. You can drop me an email and I'm going to do that, what do you call it, lucky draw. And I hope you get this one. We also have another question from this lady called Darshana Vadhava. Thank you,
Hmm.
Darshana. She says, thank you for the insights. Can you share a bit about how to figure out how and when to scale up the team and reach, assuming there are competitors in the market? Reach
Got.
where?
I think reach means like
I
uh,
guess level above. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so Darshana, if you are at a point in your business where your demand is more than your supply, very simply put, if you are getting a lot of inquiries, a lot of business, and you cannot manage with the existing teams or existing resources, that's when you know that you want to scale up, right? Because what the market is telling you, hey, there's a clear demand for your product. Now is the time to put in more resources, whether it's money, whether it's team, right? So are they kind of expended to their maximum, you know? So you want to check that. That's one of the big things. The second thing is try and look at external trends and companies like you. At what level did they scale? Are you at the same level? And if the answer to that is yes, then probably you want to scale up and kind of add that team, because you always want to try and get the first movers advantage, right? So if you see your competition growing and you probably are somewhere close to them, you want to kind of take a cue. So those are the two, I think, things that you want to think of before you start expanding your team.
Super. I hope that helps, Darshana. And thank you for your question once again. All right, Deeksha, shall we get back to the question zone?
Absolutely.
Okay, so whose turn was it? I think it was your turn.
I think it was my turn as well.
Yeah, but just before I take the next question, guys, anyone else with any questions or you want to attend, you want to enter the lucky draw with where you win a individual mentoring session with Deeksha, drop me an email, send me your questions in the comments box. Now is the time. We are here. Get all your questions clarified as much as you can. Yeah. So keep engaging with us. I hope all these people who posed their questions have walked away with super valuable insights. And Darshana says, thank you. That
So
helps.
glad.
Okay, superb. Let's take the next question. Diksha, your turn. 1 to
Oh,
20. Go, start, stop.
6.
Number 6. What do we have here? It is how do you get noticed and thrive in an overcrowded marketplace?
Focus, right? I think that's the only solution to that. You can't be all over the place and expect that people are going to notice you or are going to actually know you as an expert unless you come forward and say, hey, these are the 2 3 or 3 4 areas that I'm going to be focusing on, and re-emphasizing those ideas, right? Whether it's talking about them, whether it's kind of letting people know about your experiences, just limit yourself to those 2 3 ideas and build on that, right? Because at the end of the day, people will come to you and will want to know more from you if you have given them enough value add. And you can't do that if you're all over the place and, kind of talking about everything under the sun. And it's also a little mentally exhausting. So, don't waste your resources, limit, and just be a little bit more focused.
Perfect. Okay, Deeksha, that brings me to my final question in
Wow.
this segment, which is ta da da da. What is the mind shift you would like every viewer to have?
Develop a strong vision and think about creating that long lasting impact, right? And when I say impact, it's the entire journey of impact, right? So question everything that you do. If you have a problem at hand, you can see a problem around you. Dig deeper, critically think what are the solutions to those problems? Can you provide any of those solutions? Are those solutions, going to be turning into business models that are scalable? What's the impact that's being created? And of course, execute on that, right? So think, form a plan, execute that, and create impact.
Lovely. Thank you, Deeksha.
Thanks,
Deeksha Ahuja, thank you so much. That was
Avneet.
amazing.
No, it is, and of course, it's very much in sync, Avneet, with your philosophy at MindShift. We've had so many conversations, and I think the one thing that you're truly doing so wonderfully is letting people know that the mind shift, that they need to make is in creating impact and acting now. And I think you're doing a beautiful job on that. So kudos to you.
Thank you. That's so kind of you. Thank you. Well, my only intention with this show is truly to help people achieve clarity, in our life with so many beautiful ideas, intentions, dreams that we may have. A lot of times, either, whether it's personally or professionally, a lack of clarity that kills so many dreams in the bud. So, the
Exactly.
idea behind Mindshift is to bring on those conversations, those stories, those guests that really inspire and empower people to achieve clarity and to not deter from their path of satisfaction and success. So, thank you once again for being here. But that's not a closing line, yeah? We're still here for the last segment where we are going to do a rapid jargon bust, yeah? Where I want everyone who's watching, who is a new entrepreneur, who is wondering, where do I get started, who's not familiar with the entrepreneurial lingo, I want you to give them, I mean, clarify these words in like one sentence. What do they mean? Yeah. So,
I'm
startup
going to try
jargon.
my best to do a fair job of this, but there might be some things that even I don't know, right? So please excuse me, but I think
Don't
that's
worry.
part of learning. As entrepreneurs, we're always learning. So I hope I can do justice to your questions.
Don't worry. एग्जाम नहीं है जो आपको
हाँ,
पता है वो बता दो बस
बिल्कुल, absolutely. नहीं तो please comment में, if anyone knows, please put it there. We're all here to learn together. We are here to inspire each other, and I'd love to hear their answers to Avneet.
Coolo. So the startup jargon word number one. Who is an angel investor?
An angel investor is someone who bets on you and your idea very early on, who's putting money, who will give you the money for you to grow that idea, to execute that idea. And Of course, the intention why he does that is because he believes in that idea, and somewhere even he wants to see you in action, you putting that idea into action. So someone who's, one of your early, sponsors, or someone who's early on in the journey and betting, right? So those people are angel investors.
Difference between angel investor and venture capitalist.
Venture capitalist is a more formalized term given to people who do invest in startups for equity. These could be funds. These could be probably pooled in money from different resources meant to invest in startups. They come in at a little later stage, not in the beginning. So when, like you said, you've done your test market, you've got a good model, you are cash positive probably, you are in a growing sector, that's when a venture fund would come in.
Hmm. Accelerator.
Interesting word, and I'm going to be announcing something on those lines very soon. So an accelerator is basically a program, an institution that will give you the entire resources, the push, the network, the strategic connects for you to take your company that's probably, maybe gone from 0 to 10. An accelerator will help you take that from 10 to 100 to 1000 to a million, right? So it's kind of a launch pad, where you come in and you get everything you need to kind of launch that rocket or launch that startup.
Bootstrapped.
Bootstrap just means when you are investing and putting in your own money and running your business, which means that you are not raising money from external resources, external people, whether it's angel investments, whether it's taking a bank loan, whether it's raising venture capital. So you're putting in your life savings, your founder's money. That's what it means to be bootstrapped.
Amazing. And the last one, incubator.
So, incubators and accelerators are very close to each other. Accelerators are generally shorter in duration. They're meant to just, help you with that kickstart. Incubators are longer programs. They're also meant for people who are just starting out at an ideation phase, but that idea has the potential to grow into a much bigger scalable model, right? So, that's the only difference. But in terms of what you get at an incubator, you'll get the same thing. You'll get your foundation on certain business aspects. You will get mentorship. You will get strategic connects. You'll also probably be able to raise money once you graduate from that incubator.
Lovely, Deeksha. Thank you so much. So, I think today has been such a power packed session where it's almost like a fundamentals class for everything a person needs to know if they are embarking on their journey of entrepreneurship. It has been truly amazing. But I
Thank
know that you're also coming up with some really, really killer stuff, which I want you to share with everybody. What is it? What else is on the cards? What's up next, rather?
Right. So, Avneet, my intention of launching Collaborator, I launched it 2 years back, but the idea was very clear. I wanted to, at every point, create unique IPs or sets of programs or initiatives for a diverse set of entrepreneurs to help them scale up sustainably, right? So when the lockdown just hit, we introduced Pitch It, which is our IP or our event on virtual business pitching, right? Because I wanted more entrepreneurs to meet investors virtually, raise the capital, and then, of course, go and scale their, products or services. Having said that, like you mentioned, and one of the visions in my life or the goals in my life is to make sure that entrepreneurship is more diverse, is more inclusive. Unfortunately, we have very few women led or women co founded startups in the ecosystem, and that's something that's been close to my heart. So, we're launching a diversity focused startup incubator in collaboration with a firm in UK and Africa called Greenhouse Capital. And it's a very unique incubator program because what we've done is we've put in all our years of research, a lot of my insights, along with my team that's with me at the incubator, and of course, the very sophisticated curriculum offered by Greenhouse Capital with the set of amazing mentors we have. So, for anyone in the crowd who is a woman-led or a co-founded startup, or knows of someone who's running a business who fits into this, do let them know. We will officially be launching in the coming week, and I'm also
Lovely.
and of course, for everyone out there, it will be out there. So I'm very active on LinkedIn and on my own site. So do watch out. But that's what is on the cards for now. But I'm sure if you ask me this question after a month, there'll be something else. So there's always new stuff that's innovating. That's what drives me.
That's amazing, Deeksha. And it honestly makes me so happy to know that you're doing this, especially for like female led startups. Because, a lot of females, I think, again, it's a mindset thing where they're like, okay, we're just doing this to pass time. We're just doing this to like, ऊपर का खर्चा निकालने के लिए या ठीक है इतना ही है काफी है ना. Like not a lot of female founded startups really think of fundraising or taking it to the next level. And if you are able to work with them, make them, give them that support system, that entire, that support system that they need to really take their ideas to the next level. I think it's phenomenal. So keep it up. Kudos to you. It's been amazing interacting with you, and this has been a fabulous session.
It has, and thank you for being such an amazing host. It's I'm feeling so humbled by this opportunity, and I'm actually so happy to be here because even among this entire thing, even if one person turns an entrepreneur or is inspired to be an entrepreneur because of our session today, I think we've met our goal, right? In times like today,
Absolutely.
with a lot of insecurity in the job market, with so many problems at hand, I think as humans, it's our responsibility to see what impact we can create, right? So for everyone listening here, I coax you to at least consider entrepreneurship, to consider seeing whether it's actually meant for you. And trust me, the path will open up on its own. There are enough and many people to guide you, to support you. You just need to take that first step.
Super. Thank you, Deeksha. Thank you once again. Everyone else who wants to get in touch with Deeksha, her website address is on your screen. Screenshot it, keep it safely, reach out to her with any questions, any guidance that you need on the startup front. Once again, Deeksha, it's been a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much.
Likewise, Avneet, and wish you all the best and see you soon again.
Take care. See you.
Bye.
All right, boys and girls, I truly hope that was an insightful session. Actually, not hope, I'm pretty sure that was an insightful session. You guys have been amazing. You all were so engaging and so interactive today. I love that. And for everyone else who's here, there is something I'd like to share with you now, which is the roster for the month of July. Today is just MindShift's second episode, but there is so much more action that's coming your way. So have a look at this. Superb. So, we have been talking about how you can decode startup success today. It was an amazing session. In case you missed it and you've just come in, make sure you go back and you replay this entire thing and you catch all the wisdom that was falling through the sky. Okay, that was one. And I have topics like how you can overcome limiting beliefs coming up next Saturday in my mini masterclass live at 5 p.m. GST, 6:30 p.m. IST. So watch out and be there. And then we have the journey of consciousness. And then we have so much more action packed content coming. So Saturdays are your days with me. They're Saturdays. So don't forget it. Cool. Until next time, I'm going to see you. This is Avneet Kohli signing off. Take care.